All right, guys, real quick. I want to start this presentation like I start every single presentation. That's going to be with a Snapchat. Do you guys use Snapchat? Anybody? A no? A one yes in the back, 2, 3? Okay, a couple people. So just so you guys know too, if you take a picture of this with your Snapchat, you'll follow me and that's awesome. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to post on my Snapchat. I'm basically going to take a selfie like this with you guys in the background, and I want you guys on 3 to just say aloha. Can we do that? Do you want to do a practice round? I can't look bad. Okay, let's do a practice round. 1, 2, 3. Aloha! Oh, you guys, you wasted the best one first. No, we're cool. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Aloha! What's up, Snapchat? All right, I'm gonna post this real quick. Okay, so yeah, hotspot. Okay, so Snapchat, I know not a lot of you guys use it, but just to kind of put things in context, there's 100 million daily active users on Snapchat. And that's coming from 150 million monthly active users. So what that means is that every single month, 150 million people are using Snapchat. But every day, 100 million people are using Snapchat. So it is a huge freaking audience. And for me, as a marketer, I'm always trying to get attention, and so Snapchat is something that I'm really putting a lot of time into right now. But that wasn't always the case. Before I was marketing myself on Snapchat, slide, I was using this. You guys know what this is? Anybody?
Swipe right.
You know, Tinder. Anybody use Tinder at all? Really, nobody uses it here. Gosh, that's incredible. Okay, so Tinder is a dating application, mobile app. It's not quite as big as Snapchat, but it does have 10 million daily active users. And beyond that, since its launch in 2012, Tinder has had 10 billion matches. So since you guys kind of are not as familiar with Tinder as I thought you might be, we're gonna go through a little bit about what it is. Do a slide. And the reason that I'm qualified to tell you what it is because this is RedBull Magazine, August issue of last year, and it says, for those of you that can't read it, world record, more than 4,000 women, the most Tinder matches. I'm very proud of that fact. That's me, yeah, back when I had hair. So this is me in RedBull Magazine, but the story starts a long time ago before that. Back in early 2014, slide. Oh yeah, and I didn't just get it because I'm really, really ridiculously good looking. It was actually because I treated Tinder like a marketing platform, and I was kind of marketing myself. All right, slide. Okay, so this is how Tinder works. Tinder is a location-based dating app, meaning that every person that logs in has a little bit different experience depending on where they're located. So here on Hawaii, as soon as I landed, I started swiping because it's an all-new pool of people for me. And I've never gotten a chance to match with these people, despite having tons of matches in other cities where I've lived or visited. So what happens is, you see pictures of other Tinder users. In this case, I blanked out her name. But you can do two things. You can swipe to the left, say, no thank you, I'll pass. Or you can swipe to the right, saying, I'm interested. And you're basically making this snap judgment and assumption based on a quick picture. So a lot of people have given Tinder a lot of shit for being kind of surface, shallow, but the reality is that's just kind of how people are. We walk into a room and we see people and we're like, I want to talk to them or I don't. I want to date them or I don't. That's just human nature. And so you're swiping right, swiping left. In my case, as you can see on my shirt, it says Mr. Swipe Right. I swipe right a ton, and then after I swipe right, if this girl, oh, I do have her name, Frida. I blanked out here and forgot there. So much for anonymity. So if I swipe right on Frida, and then she sees a picture of me and is like, that's a pretty handsome dude, and then she swipes right on me, then we become a match. It's a match. And so when it's a match, now we have an opportunity to talk to each other. There's a communication channel opens up, and it's kind of like SMS. Basically, I can click here and I can send a message, or I can click here and keep playing. Because it's kind of like this big game. And so I got this idea because I was working as a freelance digital marketer and I was living in Los Angeles and I had probably a dozen clients. And my main goal was always to help them find creative ways to stand out online. I don't like to do things like everyone else. Excuse me. And so one of my clients was acquired by this big national brand, and they moved me to Phoenix, Arizona. And that is somewhere where I knew absolutely nobody. I was single at the time. And so I decided that in this new city, I was going to use Tinder as a tool to market myself because I did want to meet new people, both friends and potential romantic interests. We'll do next slide. Now, whatever you're thinking about Tinder, you might be thinking, you know, how does this pertain to selling? How does this pertain to marketing? Well, I think if you ask some of the best salespeople in the whole world, how do you sell a widget? And they would probably say something along the lines of, I don't sell the widget, I sell myself. And I think that that's pretty common language throughout all salespeople, is that you're really just selling yourself. And so in the case of Tinder, I'm selling something, I'm selling myself. I wanted to market myself, and I wanted to do it creatively. Slide. So here's a Tinder profile. And this is what it looks like. It's got your picture, I've got my surfing picture, I figure that ladies will like that. This was actually, like, having a surfing picture is kind of novel in the States. Here in Hawaii, there's probably a lot of them. So I might not do as well here. And then it has, you know, your name, age. This was 2 years ago, I'm way older now. And then you get your little bio. In the bio it says, collector of moments, not things, glass always half full, no time for pessimists, ranked 4th in the world for snuggling, and then I have my Instagram and my Snapchat. And so it's like a silly thing. It's not like Match.com, you're not putting a resume, it's all kind of goofy and lighthearted. And that's the nature of the app, because you're just looking through pictures of people and you're making really quick judgments. Do I want this or do I not want this? And so I was looking at this as a marketer and saying, now how can I make myself more marketed than everyone else, but not disruptive to the process? It's like, you know, with internet marketing, my biggest pet peeve is like pop-up ads. I freaking hate pop-up ads. If you make me subscribe to your email list just to get a piece of content of yours, or you shove a pop-up ad right in front of me, like 5 seconds in when I'm reading your article, I'm gonna leave. And when people look at data, they look at just the conversions, how many click-throughs, but you don't know all the missed opportunities. And so I was trying to keep that in mind and make an advertisement that was really kind of native to the platform, native to the language that people speak when they talk about Tinder, and native to the experience, so that when girls were seeing my advertisement, they would think it's funny. Slide. So this is what I did. I took my picture and I photoshopped it at the top. I found a font that looks very similar to Tinder's branded font. I put the Tinder logo on my actual picture, and I made my picture, and it says, hot match of the day. And so it was almost like Tinder had hand curated me. They picked me, and I am being specially delivered to you as your hot match of the day. And so, you know, maybe people thought this was a new feature and that Tinder was rolling out this new curated hot match of the day. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they just thought that this was silly. But at the same time, like, if you can get a girl laughing, you can almost always get her phone number. And so this is what I did. Did somebody clap for that? So this is what I did. So I put up hot match of the day, and I started swiping right. And because I was moving from Los Angeles to Phoenix, I was in Phoenix a lot. That's a big city, large population, large Tinder user base. So I swiped thousands of girls. And then I went back to LA to pick up some more of my stuff, and I swiped thousands of girls. And then I went home to San Francisco where my parents lived, and I swiped thousands of girls. And I did this for about 2 weeks straight. And at first, after about 2 weeks, I had 800 matches. Now, for girls, that's really not that many, but for a guy, it's pretty legendary. And I mean, I'm just gonna say it, I'm awesome at getting Tinder matches. So I wrote this blog about it, and I was positioning it as a content marketing piece. Slide. And in this, does anybody know who this is?
Gary Vee.
Gary Vee, that's right. Gary Vee is a legend in content marketing. Forbes has named him the most influential person on social media, I believe 2 years running now. He's got an audience of 1.2 million on Twitter, and just tons and tons of attention. And he always talks about being native and respecting the platforms that you're marketing on, rather than doing things like pop-up ads or disruptive things. And so in the article, I explained that whole process, that story that I told you, and I had some data also. One interesting piece of data actually that struck me is that only 8% of women will message a guy first after a match. That's not very many. I had a girl do a similar experiment. She found out that only 35% of guys will message the girl first. So what that means is that 42% of matches end up talking and 58% of matches never even talk, which is fine. I just thought that was interesting. But I made it all about content marketing, tipped my hat to Gary Vaynerchuk, tagged him in the post, and he actually, it was posted on Medium. He liked the post, and then he shared the post on social media. That's a really big deal because Gary mostly just shares his own stuff. And in this case, it kind of was his stuff because I was saying, hey, Gary V's awesome. I took his native marketing and I took it to Tinder, which nobody's done. Here are some results. By the way, I have 800 matches. Here's a screenshot. I hacked Tinder, blah, blah, blah. Next slide. And so this raised some eyebrows. It got some attention first from Daily Dot, and then MSN, and then Business Insider. Because when you get press, I know Cynthia talked about getting press. One thing that will happen is once you get press somewhere, a lot of places syndicate from each other, and they all feed off each other. And if Daily Dot is talking about a story, Business Insider is like, oh, we better cover that, because they don't want to be left in the dust. They don't want to be on the wrong side of history. And so other places started picking it up. Next slide. So here's some of them. So this was really cool. Adweek is something that I wanted to be in as a digital marketer for a long time. I never could get in as a digital marketer. And I do this silly little Tinder stunt, and the editor contacts me and asks for an exclusive story. Absolutely, I'm gonna do that. And so I actually continued the experiment. I did some modifications, and then I helped him write this big, long feature. And then that, again, it gets syndicated. So then it was like Made Man, Entrepreneur, FHM, Yahoo, Wall Street Journal, Inc., AskMen, Adweek, and then RedBull, which you saw, the RedBull Magazine thing, which was print. That was freaking cool to see your face on paper. It's awesome. And then another interesting thing is because these you think about these press outlets and what they want to achieve. They're looking for ad impressions. They're selling the content, giving away free content against ad impressions that they're selling. So the more time that they can get their readers to stay on the page and read, or read the next article, or comment below, that is all valuable to them. And so they have algorithms. And so Adweek had this algorithm at the end of 2014 where they were saying, okay, this is a roundup post of our top 10 digital marketing stories of the whole year. Now keep in mind, this is the year that Kim Kardashian broke the internet. Mark Zuckerberg had an epic response to trolls. There was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You guys have all heard of this stuff, right? Yeah. Those were all written in the same category on Adweek. But my story got the #1 top tech story of the year in 2014, simply because I understood those algorithms and how important Adweek's goals were, and so I was trying to align my goals with them so I could keep the content going and keep the conversation going. Every single time that somebody commented on this, how one guy wooed 2,000 women on Tinder, every single time. Sometimes girls would say, oh, well that just works because he's so good looking. And I would comment and say, oh, thank you, baby, swipe right. Or guys would say, well, how many dates did you even go on? And I'd reply and said, well, I'm a pretty picky guy. I went on 5 dates. And he's, oh man, you can't close. I'm like, that's cool, man, we just got different tastes. It's not a big deal, I don't take it personally. But I keep the conversation going. And that was important because then it got that troll to come back because he got a notification and comment again, which put me higher in the algorithm, and why I beat out Kim Kardashian and Mark Zuckerberg and the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, because I understood the platforms. Next slide. Oh, thank you. Swipe right. And again, that's how I became whatever the most world record for Tinder matches. I think we got another one. Okay, so then, this is kind of cool. I had all this attention and a ton of people reading my article, and these guys were starting to email me saying, well, how do I get a number? How do I get a girl to message back? Because all I've done is just try and get matches. That's what I optimized for. I think you should always only optimize for just one thing and one thing only, and my goal was to get matches. And so then I realized, holy crap, because by this time I had 4,000 matches, and guys were begging me, help me. And so I put a simple email collection. I know I said I hate this, but bear with me for a second. I put an email collection which is optional. They can get the content for free. But I said, if you give me your email, I will give you extra parts of the experiment that I have never published in the form of an ebook that I'm writing. And I started getting a ton of emails. I got 200 emails, I think, in 3 days. And as soon as I hit 200, I'm like, all right, I got to do something with this, because I'd never emailed them yet. And so I said, here's the deal, guys. I'm writing this book. It's called Tinder Hacks. It's gonna be so amazing. I'm gonna teach you how to get more matches, messages, numbers, and dates on Tinder, and you are gonna crush it. And guys really like that kind of stuff. And I said, you know, I'm gonna sell this book for $27 because this is a premium product. However, if you pre-order it right now, here's a link to my PayPal. Send me 17 bucks, I'll put you on the list. I'm gonna give it to you. Not only, you know, you're gonna be the first one to get it, I'm not even gonna sell it to the public for 1 whole week after the pre-order goes out. And so basically you get this head start, all these extra Tinder hacks that no one else is gonna get. And at this point, by the way, I had not written the book. I had a table of contents kind of outline, I had an idea in my head, and I had 4,000 matches. But I was thinking, I'm not gonna go write a book if I don't know that people want it. I wanna see if I can get people to buy it. And sure enough, immediately after sending it, I started getting orders in. $17 PayPal, $17 PayPal, $17 PayPal, drinks on me tonight. It was awesome. And so, and I had this ridiculous deadline. I think I promised that I would write the book by like Sunday night, and the email went out on like a Thursday. So like for that, I think I called in sick the next day to work because I had a corporate job, and I just like messaged all day long. So what I did is I created like a text doc in my phone, little notes doc. I came up with all these different intro lines of what to send to girls, trying to be creative, and then I would send them, copy and paste, and I would send the same message to 100 girls or to 200 girls. And then I would go back through with the legal pad and a pen, literally old school, checking, oh, this little hand wavy emoji, response. This little, you know, what's up girl, response, this response. And so because I had all this data and I was sending them all, I kept track of how many I sent and how many got response. I got a response rate. So I'm like, okay, so this message has a 63% response rate. This one has a 14, this one has this. And I took all of that data and I put it into this book. And it's been amazing. I mean, this was 2 years ago, and every single day, while I was sitting there listening to the speeches this morning, I sold 2 copies of my book for $27, which is epic. But something that I like to do when I do this kind of particular talk, especially because it seems like a lot of you guys don't use Tinder, but you might be interested in the data, is I want to give you guys the book for free. But what you are going to have to do is you're going to have a picture of me up here. So sometime during the rest of the talk, take a quick picture. It's going to be easy. I'll give you directions, and then I'll send you the book for free. Next slide. Okay, so then this was kind of fun. I got this email from Tinder. Subject line, match of the day, --Tinder. Hi, some of your photos have been flagged and removed as they have violated our terms of service. This is a friendly warning. Do not upload pictures that violate our terms of service in order to ensure that your profile is not deleted. God, that was stuck in my profile was deleted when I had that many matches. So this was at best Tinder team. So that was kind of fun. Like to get this email from Tinder is a big deal. Tinder is a very, very, very large company. They're owned by IAC, who also owns Match.com and OkCupid, and they absolutely dominate the attention space of the dating industry. So to get the attention of a company like that and have them send me a personal message was like totally a victory for me. What I did is I took off the match of the day from my profile and I just started using Tinder like everyone else. But that was a win. Next slide. I don't remember what it is. Oh yeah, also, a lot of people ask, well, like, what about like the rest? Like, did you go on any dates? Did you meet any cool girls? Yes, I did. I didn't go on a lot of dates. I'm very picky. But this is Christy. Christy and I actually broke up maybe 6 months ago, but we dated for over a year. We met through Tinder. We have an amazing relationship. She's still one of my best friends with my family. It's just like a serious, serious homie. And so that was successful also, which people ask about. Next slide. So this is the book, step-by-step guide. More matches, more messages, more numbers, more dates by Blake Jamieson. Next slide. So this is how you can get the free book. And it's going to be simple. This is a tweet. You have to tweet a picture of me on stage. You have to tag me at Blake Jamieson. You actually have to follow me too, so I didn't put that up there. And then you have to put TinderHacks.com because I'm a shameless self-promoter and I need people to know about this website. And then you put the picture. And if you want extra credit, you can put #DM Summit because that is where we're at today. And so if you tweet that out, then I will send you a direct message on Twitter that has a download link to the PDF. And TinderHacks.com is the site too if you want to see what I built around it. It is important that you follow me. I did this one time at a conference that was like 1,200 people, and like 100 people did it, and I forgot to tell them to follow me. And it turns out you couldn't send a DM to people that don't follow you. So like, I basically let a bunch of people down, and that's like my least favorite thing to do. So make sure to do those things. Next slide, if there is one. No. The end. Questions. Also, just throwing this out there, I know there's not a lot of people that use Tinder, but for this quick Q&A session, I'm totally down to do like a live audit of someone's Tinder if they want to sacrifice their phone to the Tinder gods. I will pimp you out so hard, and you will get so many more matches. Just saying. You can also find me privately at this event, and we can do that. Any questions?
Question.
Yo.
Okay, Snapchat, right?
Yes.
How do you do a Snapchat takeover? How do you use that?
Okay, Snapchat takeover. So, did you see the one that I did last week with Justin?
Yeah, Justin.
Okay, so the question was, how do you do a Snapchat takeover? Tangent from this. What that is, guys, is when two people that use Snapchat basically trade accounts for a day. And so I traded with a guy, a growth hacker named Justin Wu in Los Angeles. He has a big following on Snapchat. I have a pretty big following, so we swapped. And that was really cool because I got to talk to his audience and he got to talk to mine. And all day long I was giving Tinder hacks, giving tips on people how to do Tinder better. And then those people wanted to connect with me. Some bought my book, actually no, I gave away the book for free, but some have emailed me, followed me on Snapchat. So the way that we did that is we change our Snapchat password to something temporary, and then we send each other the password. And so then at midnight or whatever, the morning of, I log in with his username and password on my phone. He logs in, vice versa, and so then I'm just on his account. Mm-hmm.
So
yes?
How does Snapchat work with your Tinder?
So Snapchat is just where the most eyeballs are right now, with like millennials and with a lot of people, because it's it's the newest social media platform that's really taken off. And I think that the fact that messages disappear and are ephemeral makes people be more authentic. And so because that's where all the attention is now, that's where I'm focusing. Because Tinder had all the attention in 2014, that's why I focused. So that's kind of how I tie it in, is that like I just took advantage of the platform that was blowing up. I don't think that Tinder is it anymore. I think that Snapchat is it. Not related to dating, but in terms of like building my personal brand and promoting my products and services, Snapchat is where I'm spending 90% of my time. Anyone else? For all the ladies that are wondering, yes, I'm single. Again. I'm single again, yeah. Sorry. Remind you, jeez. Yeah.
They just keep swiping right.
So the picture of the gentleman that you had up there, is he Indian guy?
Oh, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
No, he's from Belarus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He immigrated here. He was like 4 years old. His dad had a very small corner liquor store. He jumped on YouTube very, very early and started creating content in the wine business and grew a tiny mom and pop store to a $60 million a year business that sold wine on the internet, and then parlayed that into a career in social media. And it's Vaynerchuk. It's hard to say, but he goes by Gary VEE on a lot of things. He's a total legend and a really nice guy. I mean, with 1.2 million followers, he'll still respond to you if you tweet to him, like personally. He types it himself. He doesn't automate anything. It's really incredible the amount of how he's able to stay so human. Yeah, keep it coming.
Okay, all right, I will. So, for your experiment, what resource was the best to help you understand the algorithms and the process and all of that?
Algorithms and process of...
You had your experiment, right? And
yes.
then you had a process that you followed in order to
yes.
reach an end goal.
Yes.
And then, so what was the process, or what tool or resource helped you to best understand the process?
Okay.
That that you derive from there to create the process, and then
sure.
What part of that, or what resource would help you understand the comments and all that other kind of stuff?
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so I'll talk on two different things, and really they're both kind of the same answer. So with Tinder, the way that I broke down the process is because I was an actual user, and I understood from a user's perspective what the experience is like and what the progression of the funnel looks like for a person. So as a guy, my progression through Tinder is going to be, I need to get a match, then I need to get them to reply to my message, then I need them to move the conversation off Tinder, usually that's getting a phone number, and then it's transitioning to a date. And so going through that whole flow as a person made me understand everyone else's experience. As it pertains to the media stuff, which I think the question was actually more about, how I knew those algorithms. To be honest, I didn't know the algorithms, but I look at everything to try and figure out, like, what's their business model? What do they want to do? And I know that, something like Adweek makes most of its money from ad revenue. And so they're going to be wanting to drive as much traffic as possible. And so for me, I just looked at it like, however I can help them achieve that goal is going to make my content shine there. And that's everywhere. It just so happened that when they did the roundup, I was right with my guess. And doing all the extra engagement, getting people to come back multiple times and stuff, did end up paying me in the end. Because at the beginning, it was just work, especially responding to the trolls and stuff. It was funny for me, but it was like, I didn't have to do it. My article was written, I had the press, I had the logo that I could put on my website, but I wanted to keep engaging and keep giving them back whatever they wanted, so that next time if they have another story, they're gonna wanna write about me, because they know that I will blast their stuff out. Anybody else?
Kudos for getting Adweek, number one.
Thank
Kudos
you.
for getting
Thank you.
a cease and desist letter, is what
Yeah,
they've always
exactly.
called it in
Yeah.
advertising, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then, without giving away your client base, what type of clients do you actually work for?
Do you mean clients in terms of Tinder or clients in
No,
terms of
clients
digital
in
marketing?
terms of social media.
Sure. I've worked across the board. I do a lot of tech companies, so it's e-commerce. The reason that I like e-commerce is because so many people are complaining about measuring ROI in social and saying that it's too abstract for them. And so with something as straightforward as e-commerce, I know that I could send somebody from a Facebook ad to a landing page or a sales page. I could track that all the way through to buying and tell them how much money I made them. So e-commerce was definitely a big focus. The other one that I focused on was mobile applications, and it was a lot of startups. This is when I was living in LA. And with mobile applications, they're not necessarily focused on monetizing yet. And so there's a little bit different expectation where they want buzz and they want their KPI is going to be new app downloads. And so just like with e-commerce, it's so easy for me to send an ad or make a post on social media and know exactly that drove 7 new installs. These are their usernames, or whatever. So mostly tech, e-commerce and apps, but it was across the board. I mean, I did it for a huge major motion picture launch, which was fun because I was getting to write tweets for celebrities with millions of fans. Totally different ballgame than tech. I've done fashion companies. I mean, it's across the board. Yeah.
How do you find, just by word of mouth or other ways?
How do I find clients?
Yeah.
Yes, exclusively through word of mouth. I've been fortunate to have really amazing clients. I'm pretty selective because if I'm going to spend my time working with somebody, like, I need to make sure that they, A, are super passionate about what they're doing. That's like the most important thing to me. And B, that they understand that, like, data is important. Because I'm a very data-driven person, and so I would meet up with clients and potential clients, even if it was referral. If I'm not feeling the passion, and I see that they don't quite have the technical understanding together to actually understand, like, how I make decisions and that it's kind of science, then I will refer them to somebody else. And to be honest, lately I'm mostly just referring work out. I'm not taking on a lot of new clients because I've kind of pivoted and been able to do things like TinderHacks and sell ebooks every single day sitting in my pajamas. That's preferable to me. Yo.
So, you say you like to focus on e-commerce because it's easily trackable and you can go from start to finish, sales funnel, the whole deal.
Yes.
How do you sell digital marketing, in your opinion? How do you sell it to a company like, let's say, 7-Eleven, for example, where they say, how do we track, how do we know that, obviously television is proven, right? Radio is proven. How do we know that social media or content marketing, if they're putting on the site, they're actually, we can justify spending, media dollars and track that without a coupon or scanning?
Sure. Okay, so there's a couple, this is a multi-part answer. The TV is proven, radio is proven. The sad thing is that I believe that those clients think that's true.
Right.
But if you want to flip it on them, you just say, okay, great, what was your television budget last year? They'll tell you. Say, okay, cool, and what was the revenue dollars that were now? Is going to be geo-targeted advertising. You can already do it. There's a lot of platforms, but ads that will send a push, and I freaking hate push notification ads.
Unless you need them.
Unless you need
want
them, you know. But think about in a 7-Eleven, if geo-targeting gets really, really, really good, and somebody's in 7-Eleven and they're strolling down, they've been in the store for 20 minutes, we're thinking they did some extracurriculars beforehand, and then they get a pop-up to be like, Hot Pockets 2 for 1, click here to redeem, show it to the person at the front counter. I mean, I think that's going to be the future of retail marketing. Is it's going to be mobile, because people are, I mean, I walk around the phone and I'm Snapchat, I walk around the store and I'm Snapchatting everything, and I'm tweeting and stuff, like, it never leaves my hand. So moving forward, I think is that. Until then, just kind of arguing that it is, I mean, it is TV. I mean, like Gary Vaynerchuk, one thing he says is that, you know, back in the day, there was a couple big major networks. You know, there was NBC and CBS and whatever. Now, those networks don't really exist. Those networks are Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter. Those are the major networks now. And so you don't have to advertise on all of them, but you probably should, because that's where all the people are looking. Yeah. Yes.
I just want to do a little shout out. Like, Zach's presentation is going to be all about that. It's attribution
Zach's
modeling.
presentation is gonna
and
be
we
all
worked
about
together,
that.
and I watched him do it for TV and radio when we were acquired for the new client. So he's got some pretty good tips.
Awesome. So watch Zach's presentation also.
You really
is your
want to
homework.
dive in.
What time is it at?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's also
Yep.
video.
What's the best motivators to keep you hustling on different platforms?
Best motivators to keep me hustling. I mean, obviously, so do you mean like who do I follow on different platforms?
What keeps you motivated to keep that hustling and be consistent over your...
Sure. So there's two, and they're very different. I have like this playlist of videos that I watch a lot to get myself pumped up. Gary Vaynerchuk has this video called Monday, and it's all about people complaining about Monday, and then basically if you're complaining about Monday, your shit is broken and you need to fix it, and you need to be coming into the week ready for Monday. Yeah, it's like that. That's an awesome video which I will watch very often if I'm kind of feeling a lull. And then the other video is called Pep Talk by Kid President, which is like this little I don't know if you guys all know him, but he's like this little kid that dresses like a president, and he's just like adorable. He's like 6 years old, and he has this video called Pep Talk. And it's so awesome. And so when I'm feeling like not motivated to hustle, honestly, like watching that little kid do his video, like pretty much pumps me up.
Other than like Facebook articles or Instagram sponsored ads, how would you suggest advertising a company on Snapchat other than like using your geo filters? What would be a good way, like maybe an idea for a campaign that you would come up? I mean, you know.
Sure. So I think that there's a couple ways to do it. On one hand, the best way would be building their own Snapchat presence. And you really, I mean, the tough thing about Snapchat is that you gotta be on it a lot, and you gotta be consistent because it keeps disappearing. And if you take a day off, so does your audience. And so, you know, there are brands like some NFL teams, the Saints does a really, really good job making their own Snapchat. Taco Bell actually does a really good one. Taco Bell will do a lot of doodling on Snapchat. You can draw little goofy pictures. They'll do a lot of that. So if you have the manpower and you can create your own interesting Snapchat channel, then that's best. Otherwise, if you don't have either the time, working with influencers, I think is going to be really big on Snapchat. And the interesting thing too is that, like with influencers, you probably heard a lot about influencer marketing. There's the people up top that have millions and millions of followers that have agents, and there's whole agencies for influencers, and it's not cheap. You know, I mean, Disneyland paid Shonduras $30,000 to take over their Snapchat for a single day. That's unrealistic to most small businesses. But I think that there's this huge gap, this middle market of influencers with people that maybe they're not in the thousands or millions, maybe they get 500 views on their stories. But if it's a relevant audience, you know, if you're Forever 21 and you get down with some, you know, 17-year-old girl that's got a moderately big following, she'd probably Snapchat your stuff if you just send her a shirt. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity to like give product, but at the same time, like you really have to make sure that it's the right fit. Yeah.
So
So besides your TinderHack website, do you have another one that talks about your marketing process now?
Yeah, BlakeJamieson.com. And it's Jamieson. And I also, I try and spread my content out. So I've got some content on LinkedIn articles. I've got some content on Medium, which is where the TinderHacks one lives. Medium is a blogging platform that was started by one of the founders of Twitter.
It's Medium.com.
Medium.com, yeah. And it's good. It's got a lot of really interesting content. Anybody else? Well, that was fun, guys. Thank you so much.